0509.
License number CCC 1331951.
Round up a foursome of friends and test your aim to help kids succeed. It's the 5th annual Camp Deep Pond Clay Shoot presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, supporting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. The fun takes place Friday, May 12th. You bring the team and the Boys and Girls Clubs take care of the rest. Proceeds benefit Mackenzie's Camp Deep Pond, an outdoor spring break and summer camp experience for local kids and teens. Visit bgcnf.org/events.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. Florida Gators quarterback Anthony Richardson was the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft to the Indianapolis Colts. His quarterback coach is Denny Thompson, locally here in Jacksonville. Denny joined the Frangie Show and spoke about the moment that Richardson was selected by the Colts.
Okay, his name's called. It's there. My family, I have to be with my family, and so they're, congratulations, hugs, all that kind of stuff. And then my very first thing I did was text Anthony, text Gardner, and just sat there and went, okay, how do we make this work?
Denny Thompson, a guest of the Frangie Show. Of course, he coaches Gardner Minshew and Anthony Richardson, both the top 2 quarterbacks on the Colts depth chart. Right now, 81 degrees at 6 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I can imagine all the toddlers in their baby seats asking their moms and dads, hey, when does that wicked cool song come on? What time? Well, that'd be 6 o'clock, kids. Wednesday edition, middle of the week. Are you telling me it's already a Wednesday night? I mean, we're staring at a Thursday and a Friday in the first weekend of May, which will include the Kentucky Derby. It will also include more movement in both the National Hockey League and NBA playoffs. And for the Jaguars, we're just waiting. We're just waiting to be told rookie minicamp. Okay, I'm hoping somewhere along the lines of a week from today, the 10th through the 12th perhaps. Maybe we'll begin on the 12th. I don't know. We'll see, but I want to get out there. And I want to sweat. I want to watch these 13 draft picks that are only going to cost about $3.1 million. Okay, making this 53-man roster is all of a sudden going to be pretty interesting. It's a better football team on paper. I'm very intrigued to see who will be the final 48 come Sunday, but that is absolutely way in front of us. And here we like to deal in the now. And dealing with the now includes what's next. Jacksonville has $14 million. Again, the 3.1 is used for the rookies. Which way are they going? I got to believe pass rush, defensive end, right? I mean, we've all said it. We said it before the draft. They didn't address it until late in the draft with Yazir Abdullah, who goes totally against the trend and the thinking of Trent Baalke and those 33-inch plus arms, right? 32 and 3/8. Abdullah, undersized. There's one thing Jaguar fans have heard about, it feels like forever. It's a combo outside linebacker, defensive end who's undersized. That's exactly what you got here. I mean, he's a South Florida kid. He chose Louisville. He looks impressive. Okay, well, we'll see if he's got the ability to get out and get to the quarterback. I mean, you trying to tell me right now that you believe on third down that the Jaguars bring in Abdullah, slide over Walker, and have Allen on the other side? You still have to replace Smoot, who could come back, depending on how his rehabilitation is through the very unfortunate injury with the torn Achilles. And obviously, Arden Key is gone. I'd like to thank Arden Key for providing me here with a contract extension for another year. Also the fact that the local town mafia came by today. They were measuring trees. I got to cut down some branches. They were ready to, I guess, repossess both my vehicles from Key Buick GMC and really just put a padlock on my door until I stuck my head out the window and I said, "Hey, I know Arden Key." And they said, "Oh, sorry about that, sir. We'll leave you alone and just get to us whenever you can." So Arden Key still working hard for us here in the city of Jacksonville, which is a nice thing. Getting to the quarterback. Jacksonville, 35 sacks a year ago. The end result, 5th worst pass defense in the NFL if you look at yardage allowed, particularly passing yardage allowed. I've always been one of those who wonders, okay? Give me Dick Night Train Lane. Give me Mel Blount. Give me Deion Sanders. Give me Rod and Charles Woodson. Are you going to be able to defend if you have a soft as puppy poo pass rush? Or give me Mean Joe Green. Give me L.C. Greenwood. Give me Dwight White. Can you name the 4th member of the one-time feared steel curtain defense of Pittsburgh that won 4 Super Bowls in the 1970s?
Absolutely not.
Earl Holmes, I believe. Right? Holmes, Green, Greenwood, White. And then you had Andy Russell and Jack Lambert and Jack Ham as linebackers behind him. Great safeties, great secondaries with Shell and Wagner, and of course the aforementioned big and physical Mel Blount. So who's going to play slot? You waited to the 5th round. You got reportedly 2nd-round value, right? Antonio Johnson. Everyone's raving about this guy. He's a box safety. His strength is being a 3rd linebacker or a 4th linebacker. A guy who gets it done when he comes up to the line of scrimmage and shows the physical side of run defense. Jacksonville a year ago was 6th in the NFL in single high snaps, tied for 7th in cover 3. I know I'm talking to a very intelligent football audience. You know what cover 3 defense is. It's basically zone, right? You each get a 3rd. That's the way it is. You'll have a safety in most cases, and unless it is your nickel, right? You'll each get 1/3 of the deeper part of the defense. You break it down in thirds, and you get into a zone. He played during his career at Texas A&M 883 snaps in the slot. So that's encouraging. Here's the problem. He didn't play man coverage in the slot. That's not the way Texas A&M runs their defense. So he's a high-character guy. He's a guy with plenty of intelligence. So those are two things that really favor him. But once again, you're going to be asking a guy to do something he really hasn't done. at least to that extreme. And that's basically relative with this organization. And outside of Trevor Lawrence and the quarterback, and I guess Travis Etienne is a running back, that's the way the draft process has been. And it was that way under Dave Caldwell, and it continues to be that way under Trent Baalke. I haven't really examined the other 31 teams. I don't know if this is a normal scenario for each and every team, but it very rarely around here just is he's drafted at a position he played in college, and he will do the exact same thing here in Jacksonville. It's never been that way. It wasn't that way for Chason. It wasn't that way for Walker. It wasn't that way for Allen. It wasn't that way for Taven Bryan. It wasn't that way for Miles Jack. Hell, they consider playing Jalen Ramsey at free safety. Okay? So it's the same thing here. You go out, you draft a phenomenal specimen in Anton Harrison, who's got 24 career starts at left tackle, or 23 at the left side, 1 at the right. He's going to be your opening day starting right tackle. Again, you're going to ask a guy to do something he's not familiar with. You get to the 5th round, if they do plug in this man, and boy, I hope so. I mean, is Trey Herndon going to be your slot corner? Is Chris Claybrooks going to be your slot corner? So you're going to plug in Anton, you're going to plug in here Antonio Johnson. And again, a guy who's familiar with playing in the slot, but didn't play any man coverage in the slot. You look at his numbers. There was a good article written about him today. The numbers were not in the article. I found them elsewhere. This came from The Athletic. Ted Wynn, who does a nice job with his draft analysis. You know, in the kind of the way of thinking here is this could end up being arguably the steal of the draft. This could end up being one of the greatest draft picks from this entire class if he does develop. And obviously we hope that is going to be the case. I mean, Dane Brugler rated him as the number 2 safety overall. Okay, and Jackson got him in the 5th round. But if you go back and you look at the plays that he had, the snaps that he took at A&M, 883 in the slot, 158 as the box safety, 114 as a deep safety, and he played 33 snaps as a corner. So, once again, very versatile. Another football player here who can do a number of things. I don't think you need him to do a number of things. I would rather have him do one thing, and do one thing slightly above average. If you're able to do that, that is a marked improvement from what we did see during the 2022 season. All right, we got a lot coming up tonight. A lot of draft analysis coming up. That includes Damian Parsons, who will join us here in 15 minutes, national scout for the Draft Network. I still like what the Jaguars did, especially in the first round. I remain a little surprised about the second and third round selections, and I also thought that they should have addressed cornerback and pass rush edge earlier, and their ability not to trade up, considering they had 10 Saturday picks, I think leaves a bad taste in certain people's mouths. But I don't grade drafts. I just don't. You know, I understand that you got to do what you got to do. I've never been a draft grader. I never asked anyone to grade a draft. I asked them to tell us what you believe is going to happen with this particular guy in this particular position or what have you. But there has been some negativity. I mean, Sports Illustrated ranked Trent Baalke's draft the 4th worst out of the 32 teams. 4th. Where obviously they did have the most draft picks with 13. So we're going to do that a little bit later on in the program a couple of times, including, again, Damian Parsons, who will join us here in less than 15 minutes. Let me get this out, because I feel like it's ruined some people's afternoon, or if you got it in the morning. And I'm here to tell you to relax. First of all, Kyle Brandt went off with his quarterback rankings. And, who's Kyle Brandt? What is he? I mean, this guy embarrassed himself so bad 2 years ago when he put on that Buffalo Bills garb and, ripped into a chicken wing at the draft, and every once in a while on the NFL morning show, he does his Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan, and he does things like that. What has happened here, ladies and gentlemen, is he's become a sellout. Now, it's hard not to blame him for becoming one. And I'm sure if I was offered the amount of cash that he is making, I would sell myself out as well and forget about words such as integrity, respect for the game, knowledge for the NFL. I mean, Kyle Brandt's in a position now where with this, what has become a joke of a morning show since Burleson is gone and Adams is in fact gone, that he should be asking players, what their favorite color is. Oh, we've got a special guest on today. I'm told you like purple. Is that true? And he's like one step away from hosting on the red carpet and getting with these massive celebrities and being able to look at this famous actress and say, well, that is so beautiful. Where did you get that? Is that off of Nordstrom's rack? Or did you get that from Dillard's? That's Kyle Brandt. He's become a caricature of himself, okay? A total joke. But to rank Trevor Lawrence in a category of 6 out of 7 tiers as an AFC quarterback is completely, absolutely there for one of two reasons. Number one, he doesn't know anything about football. It's either that or he did it so guys like me would waste time actually talking about it here on a Wednesday afternoon. If you have no idea what he did, here goes. Mahomes, the only one, is a number 1 tier. I have no problem with that. If you have a problem with that, you don't know football. He's the best player in the NFL. The number 2 tier, and this is AFC only, Burrow and Josh Allen. I'm okay with that. I think I would put Aaron Rodgers still in as a 2 tier. Okay, he did not play well last season, but the 2 years prior to that, he won back-to-back MVPs. Anyway, this is his tiers, not mine. The 3rd tier consists of Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Herbert. Honestly, that's where I believe Trevor Lawrence should be. But let's continue. His 4th tier, Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. His 5th tier, Jimmy Garoppolo. For those of you who may have forgotten, he is now with the Raiders. He is the starting quarterback out in Las Vegas. And from what I understand, he gets free lap dances at every single gentleman's club in Vegas. Have you heard that, JJ? Or is that a rumor as well? Adam Kaplan told us a couple of weeks ago, you can't believe everything you read. You got to deal with the facts.
I didn't hear that, but
okay.
I wouldn't find it hard to believe. He's a beautiful man.
Do some checking on that. And you said that in a very comfortable way.
Absolutely.
Why are you wearing a sweatshirt in there? You cold?
It's always cold in this radio
It's because this show is so damn boring. If we don't have it cold, I mean, the people driving home will drive off the road. That's why they do it. Try to keep us alert.
So it's not a strip club. It is a brothel.
It's a barn.
Yes, and they are offering Jimmy Garoppolo free for life.
Free relations for life.
Yes, sex for life by a Las Vegas brothel to the $67.5 million man.
Unbelievable.
So, no, not a strip club.
Okay. 5th tier, Jimmy Garoppolo. 6th tier, you're Trevor Lawrence, along with Jacksonville in the bowl school, right? Mac Jones, Tua, and Kenny Pickett. So there you go. And I'm just trying. The one thing that the local media here in town has always been consistent with is as follows. Do not trust the NFL national media. They are lazy. Duval is an inconvenience to them. It is. There's a few teams that they'd love to blow off. And I'm telling you, this happens in athletics. The example I'll always give you is being in Hoover, Alabama, something like that, and having 20 Miller Lights with the guys the night before, and then you wake up the next morning and you know that LSU's going to talk and Auburn's going to talk, and you're going to hear from Georgia. And then all of a sudden they drop Dan Mullen and Mississippi State on you. And you're sitting there during the press conference and you're like, here's a perfect opportunity for me to grab a couple of winks because it's Mississippi State, and no one cares about Mississippi State. Regardless of what Dan Mullen says or anyone else says, it's still Mississippi State. It's the runt of the litter. That's the way the NFL national media treats you. That is the way they treat Duval. There are exceptions. There are guys who put in the work. I just mentioned Adam Kaplan, Pete Prisco. There are exceptions. But the majority of the NFL national media does not like you. They don't like the city because they had to go from a boat over a bridge to this during the Super Bowl, and it was the coldest Super Bowl ever. It was unbelievable that year in Jackson. It was like the worst luck the city could have had. Now, I was working in Chicago at the time, and I got guys phoning in the radio station, oh, my God, bring me back to Chicago. I don't care if it's 12 degrees out. Get me the hell out of Jacksonville. And I'm sitting there with my veins popping out of my forehead saying, are you kidding me? You want to come back to Chicago? I haven't seen the sun in a month. And you want to come back here? But that's it. So it's Kyle Brandt. He's become a clown, okay? And I understand becoming a clown because it made him a ton of money. But don't allow that to ruin your Wednesday, okay? Rely more on people who cover this team. People who are around this team, not some guy trying to get clicks on a morning show. God, has that show gone to absolute crap? Bring back Adams. What was her name? Amy Adams? Or no, she's the actress.
Yes, Kay Adams.
Kay Adams.
I wouldn't exactly say she's asking the hard-hitting questions.
No,
either.
but
she's just hot.
But she had knowledge.
Oh, please.
And Nate Burleson was outstanding. Not a fan?
I don't care about none of those shows. They're on the NFL Network. They're not allowed to even be negative towards teams. So it's like everything is hype and, rainbows and sunshine and all this for every team. So it's like, no, I don't like that show. I never have.
You can be the opposite of that, like Jim Trotter, and find out that you're fired 3 weeks later.
See, exactly. You
After
can't be
he
on
asked that
channel.
question to Roger Goodell. Just relax out there, people. I mean, I understand that you're pissed.
He worked for MTV. He was on The Real World.
Exactly. I mean, he is a total sellout, but I would love one of his paychecks. I'm not going to argue with
half.
That. All right. Opening comments brought to you tonight by Shmunez Vision. Dr. Catherine Shmunez, fellowship trained in cornea cataract surgery, all refractive surgery. Dr. Neil Shmunez has been doing this now for more than 37 years here in Jacksonville, regardless of what is going on with your eyes. It can be simply just a normal eye exam, trying to figure out if your eyes have changed. Maybe your contacts have changed. You believe you have a problem. Hey, you could be 50 or older, and all of a sudden you're experiencing issues with cataract. Doesn't mean you need cataract surgery, okay? Set up an appointment today. They are absolutely your one stop when it comes to your eyes and maintaining health to your eyes. They did surgery on my right eye more than 8 years ago. There have been no setbacks whatsoever. That is only a part of what they do. You're a well-rounded group right here in Jacksonville, and they are a family organization located out at the beach. I'm talking about Shmunez Vision. Set up an appointment today, 299-2906, or better yet, go to shmunezvision.com for all of the details. That is shmunezvision.com. Care you can see. Coming up next, let's get a draft review. Damian Parsons, national scout. Another one of those national guys. Let's see if he crushes.
Was he on The Real World?
Jackson. I actually think Damian Parsons is one of the really best out there. That's why I keep bringing him back onto the program. But he is with the Draft Network, and he goes into the night next with us here on the home of the Jags.
On campus.
7 years of college down the drain.
On the inside and on XL Primetime.
What's the deal with the show?
Bleacher Report college football insider Matt Hayes.
How do you like being in a real studio?
Noon to 3 weekdays on 1010 XL.
Looking for the best deal on your next set of tires? Tire Outlet never falls flat. We offer the best selection, best quality, and the best prices on tires so that you can find the right ones for your vehicle. And with over 40 years of experience, 15 locations across Florida, and a legendary price match guarantee, you can trust that your vehicle is in great hands. Our skilled technicians are ready to maintain and repair your vehicle to keep it operating its best. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Tire Outlet.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. We've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler for 46 years, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off on our entire inventory. GIA certified diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase. So get something special with a payment you can afford. Come experience your local family jeweler with a gift of fine jewelry for Mom. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Years ago, when Harold and Harold was growing, we had a decision to make whether we were going to grow into the state or even beyond. And we decided that we were going to stay here in this community in Northeast Florida. That it's staying here and not looking at where's the next place that we can go or how can we get bigger, because bigger is not necessarily better. This is our home, this is where our families are, this is where our friends are, and this is where we're going to stay. Offices, Jacksonville.
Follow the rise of the young Jags and daily discussion about where they're headed.
We could be part of it.
Jaguars Today.
From the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
With Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and E.T. every weekday from 10 to noon on 1010XL.
This is Dr. Chris Swanson. When your sports injuries flare up, come where athletes are treated like pros. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
This is Berlin Dormany, head coach and athletic director of Trinity Christian Academy. We're proud of our relationship with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Take it from us at Trinity Christian. When you need orthopedic care, call on Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, real busy here on a Wednesday. Absolutely. It's going to be busy all week. 6 to 8 tomorrow. Dave Campo at 6:25. Former Cowboys head coach and currently doing some great work with us Friday as well. Get you ready for the weekend. Let's talk the NFL Draft, brought to you by Patriot Roofing Services, specializing in all types of commercial and residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights, 10-year workmanship warranty. Give my buddy Mark a call. I think he's out deep sea fishing. Call him. 982-4052, licensed and insured. 982-4052, Patriot Roofing Services. Damian Parsons is does a great job with the NFL Draft and has been with us throughout the entire process, and we're lucky enough to have him back tonight for a review. Of course, he is the national scout for the Draft Network, and he goes into the night with Rick Ballou. Damian, great to have you back.
Hey, Rick, I'm glad to be back. Always good talking to you, man.
Well, it's good to talk with you. 13 picks. Kind of want to get your assessment on just about all of it, but let's begin with the number one selection and getting Anton Harrison. Here's a guy that you broke down for us a couple of times in the draft preview process. Jacksonville moved back a couple of slots, picked up more draft capital, and they got a guy who looks like will be their starting right tackle. Did you like the selection?
I did. Like I said, you mentioned just kind of bringing him up and talking about him when I was on the show prior. I felt like it was a good selection, especially after moving back and getting some other draft capital. And then, of course, I think that the Cam Robinson suspension plays a part in that too. But just getting a guy, losing Jawan Taylor, you need someone that can start right away. And I think they did a great job picking a guy that works hard, has the athleticism, has all the physical tools and traits to come in and be a day one starter, rather than going with some of, thinking like a DeJuan Jones who may have been a flashier name for some fans. Looking at his size and height and weight and everything like that, but there were some concerns about his motor and his work ethic and different things like that. And with this new regime, with Doug Peterson being there, a championship coach, I saw the vision for him and taking Anton Harrison. I really agreed with that pick. It was a good pick.
Some of the things you hear that he needs to work on, obviously he's only 21 and will remain 21 for the entire NFL season, so he's got to get stronger. The technique at times high, maybe pad level high, doesn't necessarily bend the knees. I happen to think that Coach Rouser is one of the better offensive line coaches in the NFL. How fixable is that early for a rookie tackle?
I think it's quite fixable. Getting these guys in camp, which I think rookie mini camp starts in another week or so for most teams. Getting them into camp, right, and going through those things with them. Main thing for him is having a personal offensive line trainer, offensive tackle trainer, like most positions. QB gurus, wide receiver gurus, RB gurus, all these like different guys who train these athletes in the off season. Like getting your coaching from the coaches on staff is big, but then putting that extra work off the field, away from the facility with your personal trainer will be big. So yeah, just getting that muscle memory down. Because if physically he can do it, it's more so, okay, this is where he's been most comfortable in terms of bending. He may be more bending at the waist and not fully sinking his hips and getting good knee bendage. So if he can, just build that muscle memory where it's like second nature to him and then he feels more comfortable with that as time goes on, yeah, it's definitely correctable.
Jacksonville is in dire need of an alpha male on the offensive line. There hasn't been a leader there. They tell us it was Brandon Linder. Whatever. They haven't had one. Is this the guy? And is there nasty in Anton Harrison?
I think there is. There's reps on tape of him being a finisher. You know what I mean? We always look at those, those run plays and where he's like, you see guys take someone behind the shed and just kind of throw him down and finish him off. There are flashes of that where it's like, okay, the Big 12, they're not the most physical conference in college football, but I definitely feel like there's nastiness to them. And sometimes with guys like that, where you see those flashes, from a scouting perspective, the phrase is if you could do it once, you could do it again. Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? It's more so just, tapping into that, like what makes a guy tick. And that's what coaches come in and like, hey, no, like because some coaches, will teach guys don't do that stuff. You know what I mean? Don't be so physical. Don't be so nasty or whatever, because it's like it could get penalized and be, just kind of do your job, get it done, and then, let the play be over. But other coaches tap into it and say, no, be physical. I want you to throw guys to the ground. I want you to set the tone for us. And I think that there's opportunities with this coaching staff to kind of pull that out of Anton Harris.
Talking the NFL draft, particularly the Jaguars draft with Damian Parsons. He is with the Draft Network, and he is their national scout. All right, Friday they had 2 picks, second and third round. I wasn't surprised that they got a tight end, although I kind of figured it would be maybe in the third round. I was looking for a corner here. They go Brenton Strange, the tight end out of Penn State. Then they really shock everyone with Tank Bigsby, a third-round, talented running back out of Auburn. But what were your thoughts there as far as their second and third-round selection?
The second round selection really threw me for a loop. Because, like you said, corner was a big need for this defense, and that was something that I thought they would have addressed much sooner. Very earlier in the draft. Not first round, second. Especially with the way that the board was falling, you had corners kind of falling down the board, and it was just like, oh man, like this is kind of And I know some guys, some bigger name guys started to fall off the board, come off the board right before they picked in the second round, but still, just like that was kind of that pick was, for one, I like Brenton Strange. I thought that's like a nice ceiling for him, really athletic kid, but I did look at the situation like this is a little bit of a reach to me. Mm-hmm. But if you can unlock him and get him where you need to, and you have yourself your starting tight end for next 5 to 6 years, hey, you're not gonna have any complaints out of me. But in terms of the Tank pick, I remember being at the podium in Indianapolis and listening to Doug, Coach Peterson talk about, in today's NFL you need 3, sometimes 4 running backs basically. And talked about how he wants to do more versatile things with the Travis Etienne. And so for me, I love the pick of Tank Bigsby because Etienne's not a between the tackles type of runner. He's more of a space player. He's a weapon, but his speed and his burst, you want to get him pressing the outside hip of the tackle, and get him on the edges. You know what I mean? In the passing game, I think he might have hinted at some return stuff for Etienne as well. He's just such a dynamic football player. You want to find ways to allow him to impact the game. So getting the Tank Bigsby, I think that you give yourself a thunder, lightning type of 1-2 punch. Tank also has good long speed, but he brings more of that punch, more of the physicality between the tackles. Now you have yourself an inside and outside running attack between the two backs, especially if you come out in 22 personnel and shotgun and different things like that. I think this also could potentially open up. Just depends on how they feel about where Etienne is as a receiver. You think about the Alvin Kamara. Our co-host, the Locked On NFL Draft podcast with my guy Keith Sanchez, and Keith mentioned when we talked about this backfield post-draft, he mentioned Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott in a way. And I like that a lot because if you can turn Etienne into Tony Pollard where he's your big play splash guy in space and allow Tank Bigsby to give to do all the punishing between the tackles, you have yourself a really good situation with Trevor Lawrence. But I'm with you, Rick. I really had hoped they would have selected a corner instead of going either tight end or running back in that specific range.
Yeah, I tell you what, Duval would sign up for that in a heartbeat with Pollard and of course Elliott, who's now a free agent. A quick follow up on Brenton Strange. I didn't know much of him, and I've watched a lot since, and fullback, H-back, moves around, all sorts of different things. It almost appears to me that he's more of an Evan Ingram as opposed to the loss of a Chris Manhurt. So the obvious question is, if asked, can this man block? And if not, you got to believe they have to bring in a veteran.
Yeah, I mean, he has the size and everything that makes you think that he could do it. I always compare run blocking to playing defense in the NBA. It's a want-to type of thing. It's not a skill issue a lot of times. It could be, depends on if, you're not strong enough and things like that, but it's typically a will issue. Will you or won't you? Will you block or won't you block? And I think that's where it's going to really get dicey when it comes on the camp for him is just you haven't been asked to be a heavy run blocker, throughout your career. So, okay, stepping into that lane now with Doug Peterson. He reminded, like, when the pick came through, I was like, this seems like Evan Ingram 2.0. That first was the first thing I thought about. I was like, this seems like Evan Ingram again. And just an athletic pass catcher with a high ceiling as a pass catcher. But what is he going to give you on rundowns? And if you're not comfortable with it, right now, especially getting through mini camp and OTAs and all that, then yeah, you need to look at bringing in a veteran that can at least, come in 12 personnel packages on running situations and help set some good edges for ETN and Tank Bigsby to get those guys upfield and get them loose.
Damian, let's wrap it up with two players, Yasir Abdullah and Antonio Johnson. Let's go to Abdullah first, another undersized pass rusher. He did fall a little bit in this draft. I mean, the tape looks fantastic, but in your opinion, can this man get to NFL quarterbacks?
I think so. Really good athlete. He even though he was listed around like 235, 240 somewhere in there, I felt like he was a little more. He looked a little more filled in on tape than that. But I think he can. I think right now, where I envision this going is just having a Trayvon Walker on those third down situations, kind of bump down inside where he was more natural coming out of Georgia. He wasn't rushing off the edge a whole ton at Georgia his last year. He rushed more so on the inside track. So then you get yourself, you have Josh Allen, Yasir Abdullah and Trayvon Walker. You allow yourself more room for creativity in terms of your pressure packages. So I think he can get to the quarterback. He's probably going to be more of a sub-package guy. May not play a lot on first and second down, but he was a fifth-round pick, so that gives you – he plays special teams, I would assume. So I like that pick for them. And then Antonio Johnson was a guy that kind of fell from grace. Big kind of safety, nickel defender that could manage tight ends and everything. Decent athlete as well. Think was a guy that was projected to go first round back in the summer. And to get him here, 4.5 in the 40, having the height and weight, he looks like a big strapping kid. And I think now it's just all about getting him eye discipline, really getting him comfortable in what you're going to use him. I think he's going to be used in a specific type of way. Low hole, box defender that can help against the run. But like I said earlier, kind of man up some of these tight ends that's in the league. And especially dealing with the two big athletic guys you have to deal with in Indianapolis with Jelani Woods and Mo Alley Cox, and they drafted Will Mallory. A guy like this, Antonio Johnson, that could be kind of a dime backer and pull a linebacker off the field, I could see him playing that type of role for this defense.
Yeah, that really feels like that is going to be what he does best in the NFL, is become a run defending, box safety or, maybe an extra linebacker. As we let you go, if they elect to put him in the slot as a third corner, I know that at Texas A&M he played 883 snaps in the slot, but wasn't asked to man coverage, to do any man coverage. How hard is that transition going to be for Antonio Johnson, and do you believe that he can do it?
I think you have to it'll be a tough transition, especially against like NFL receivers, NFL slot receivers. Those guys are so crafty and nuanced in how they can win from the slot with all that space they have to work with. I think putting him against some of those veteran crafty slot receivers may be, like, especially in game, like it may be a little bit too much for him. You definitely throw him to the fire in practice. You give him every rep you can to see how quickly he can really acclimate himself to it, and with the movement skills, and can he develop the technique and press and in man-to-man coverage. I think he's going to, like I said earlier, I think he's going to be more so against those bigger slot receivers, like those big power slots. Think about like a Cortland Sutton reducing down to the slot, and those big receivers, Darren Waller type of guys, those tight ends. And big body receivers, I think those guys he will fare well a little bit better against, because he can just get up and be physical with, and they're not the quick twitch, small, slippery receivers that can get underneath his hands and get free really quickly and put him in and stress him and put him in conflict. Where against those bigger body receivers and tight ends, he can get into their frame, and there's a boxing match from here. Body blows, be physical, and reroute guys.
Outstanding work. Tell us about your podcast.
Listen. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, NFL, Locked On NFL, draft podcast. You know, we were recapping everything from the 2023 NFL draft class, getting ready for, of course, rookie mini camps. Talk about a lot of these rookies that have been drafted, as well as start getting transitioning into 2024 and getting ready for the college football season as well. So if you're a college football fan, we're going to talk about your teams on there. The NFL draft fan, NFL fan want to keep up with your rookies that were just drafted and what we think of them and how they fit for your team. Tap in with us on YouTube or on the audio side, Apple Podcasts especially.
Outstanding. And I also follow Damian on Twitter. You can just go to DP_NFL. Some great stuff on there as well with Damian Parsons. Always a blast, young man. We'll do it again down the road. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There he goes, Damian Parsons. Good stuff. National Scout. The Draft Network. So, when you draft 13 players, you can't ask about all 13. I was going to ask about Ventrell Miller, but he's a Gator, so I just figured forget about it. Kidding. And I'll check the text line here. I imagine there's probably some people out there that are going to believe that that is the case. Although I got absolutely pillaged on Twitter for coming out and saying Ventrell Miller is a really good football player.
I was about to say, every Gator guy that I know on this station has been saying the opposite. They don't like him at all.
He's hurt. He's undersized. He's not necessarily athletic. He can't cover. I just watched him at Florida make a lot of plays. Probably an overvalue. The most criticized picks here are the second, third, and the first pick in the fourth round. Brenton Strange, Tank Bigsby, and Ventrell Miller. But it really appears, I was watching a lot of highlights last night on Parker Washington out of Penn State, who obviously this year, you don't need him to do anything this year. It's next year. Is Zay Jones, do they move on from him in a year? I'd have to look at the way that the contract reads before the 2024 season. I know that Christian Kirk is definitely going to be around for one more season. And, whether or not they get Calvin Ridley extended is arguably, hopefully, priority number 2 after Trevor Lawrence. That duo becomes just so incredible that you have to get both done. So anyway, interesting stuff there. And I do want to thank Damian Parsons. Good stuff. Appreciate him joining us. That was brought to you, our nightly draft update. Patriot Roofing Services. Yeah, that includes the post-draft. All right. Patriot Roofing Services, specializing in all types of commercial, residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights, 10-year workmanship warranty, financing available, military and senior citizen discounts, no subcontractors, licensed and insured. Give Mark a call, 982-4052. That's 982-4052. And as always, you mentioned this ad at the time of the estimate, you get $500 off any new re-roof. All right, when we come back, let's get you caught up on everything that is going on. Best way to join us is on the text line. That is 641-1010, and it's brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also coming up next hour from Jaguars.com. More on the Jaguars. John Osher will go into the night with Rick Ballou.
We got a great show for you today. Join the 1010XL Podcast Network.
A big show.
Now you can find all your favorite 1010XL podcasts in your platform of choice.
A king-size show.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Did you hear what's happening? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are spring cleaning. New inventory on the ground means the old has to go. Take advantage of the lowest prices of the new year by saving thousands on thousands of vehicles priced to sell. New and pre-owned prices have been reduced, and all sales associates have been instructed to give maximum value on all trades. But you better hurry. That's right. Best deals go first. Head to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville to take advantage of the spring cleaning sale. We're here to wow you.
Ballou here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Don't ignore plumbing leaks. They can lead to mold and mildew or structural damage. and drain your wallet. So when you have a leak and can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville and with Supercross down at Daytona on the Brain. Greg, what is the hottest off-road in the showroom?
Oh, the new CRF 450 Works Edition. It is a nice machine. You got to check it out. Also have lots of side-by-sides. Continue to be smoking hot. Great place to spend some time with family and friends.
That is the thing right now, right?
It is. It is very popular, and I tell you, it gets people outdoors and relaxing with their friends.
Come check out their inventory of side-by-sides on Atlantic near Regency, Cycles of Jacksonville, and online, cyclesofjacksonville.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 3rd, 2018, Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan becomes the NFL's first $30 million per season player after agreeing to a $150 million contract extension.
Listen for the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Rehabilitation House Calls and the Frangie Show this Friday. They'll tell you about rehab parameters for baseball and softball players and the different tools available at JOI Rehab. JOI, where the pros go.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This Mother's Day season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. Buy a $75 gift card or more and guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes a perfect gift for everyone. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Need to enhance your home's curb appeal? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Replacing with new stone pavers will transform your driveway into a stunning work of art. Say goodbye to unsightly concrete and hello to beautiful, durable pavers that last for years. Visit Stonecore today and let's beautify your home together. Stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
I'm Dr. Mitchell Yass, the most unknown world-renowned expert on pain elimination. That's right, elimination. If you've tried medications, injections, physical therapy, chiropractic, even surgery, and still experience pain, then say yes to Yass. I have successfully used the Yass method for over 30 years to help thousands reclaim their lives. To learn more, call me at 904-906-YASS. Let's end your pain and say yes to Yass.
Picking here again for Zero Res. I wonder what my wife wants for Mother's Day, but every time I ask her, she just wants me to have those cleaning freaks at Zero Res come and clean tile and grout again. She just loves how good it makes her feel. And you know Zero Res has a deal on tile cleaning for my listeners as well. From now until Mother's Day, get $50 off your tile and grout cleaning, or $50 off cleaning and sealing your granite countertops, or you can get both. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, thank you to Damian Parsons. You want to comment on anything you heard there draft related? Best way to get us is on the text line. That is 641-1010. And it's brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. 4329. Hey, Ballou. How about the Jags picking up Mercedes Lewis? He is a free agent. Should be pretty cheap. He will take care of the need for the blocking tight end. You know, Randall Cobb went to New York today to join Aaron Rodgers. Be interested to see what happens to Mercedes Lewis. Isn't he the oldest player in the league now that Brady's retired?
I know he's on his 17th season, so that sounds about right.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I read something earlier today where there were 8 free agents that Jacksonville should consider, and the ones that I think, I've always had the list of Justin Houston and Jadeveon Clowney and Unique and Frank Clark and Leonard Floyd and possibly the return of Dewan Smoot. I think this list had a couple of them today. I know it had Unique. It had Rock Yassin. It had guard Dalton Risner. It did have Leonard Floyd. It had cornerback Bryce Callahan and cornerback Marcus Peters. It had Clowney. And the last one on here was Mercedes Lewis.
Who is only the 5th oldest player in the league, actually.
He is, really?
Yeah, his teammate or former teammate is actually older than him, Aaron Rodgers. Jason Peters, number 1 at 41 years old. Andy Lee, who's a punter, doesn't even count 40. Robbie Gold, kicker, doesn't count 40.
Oh, respect the kickers and punters.
But just a different job, I would say. So out of positional players, yeah, it's Rodgers at 39, Mercedes Lewis 38. But the oldest, Jason Peters, 41.
I got a good one here from the 0255 who says, Ballou. Contrary to popular belief, Ingram was asked to do a lot of different things in the run game, base blocks, reach blocks, as in line tight end, kick out and wham blocks as a sniffer and fullback, ISO block and a sniffer fullback. Strange did all of that at Penn State a little bit. I mean, he was all over the place. Again, he played fullback, he played H-back, he played on the line of scrimmage. He was asked to block somewhat, but that doesn't answer my question. Who takes over for Manhertz? Now, Manhertz's snaps went down considerably throughout the course of the year, and I still feel like this is a run, this is a pass-first football team. Before I head to the top of the hour break here, let's just review the Jaguars during the 2022 season, and we do understand that at least early on, they were trailing in a ton of games. So that's going to affect your overall numbers. But this past year, Jacksonville threw the football 596 times. They ran it 448 times. Okay? You go back to one-win seasons. Let's look at 2021. Jacksonville in 2021, 604 passing attempts, 392 rushing attempts. Still one of the greatest statistics in the history of this organization. When they went to the AFC Championship game in January of 2018, during the 2017 regular season, Jacksonville, 527 pass attempts. All right, 523 by Bortles. Somehow Brad Nortman threw a pass, and he completed it, the 29-yarder. Marquise Lee and Chad Henne, 1 and 2 respectively. 527 passing attempts in 2017. 527 rushing attempts in 2017. Exactly 50%. I don't know if that's ever been done before in the NFL. I don't know if anyone ever looked that up. Fournette, 268. Still couldn't average 4 a carry. He gave you 3.9. Chris Ivory, 112. Blake, 57. TJ Yeldon, 49. I'm not interested in talking to the media. Corey Grant, 30. Marquise Lee, 1. Tommy Bohannon. I used to do a weekly show with Tommy Bohannon.
Touchdown Tommy.
Where were you? Tommy had 5 carries, 2 for touchdowns.
That's economical.
And Chad Henne. And doesn't that it blows me away. Can you imagine that? A season in which you threw it 527 times and ran it 527
Do you
times.
think that they got down to the last game and they knew that, and they're like, no matter what we do, we're going to make sure we get this?
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, didn't they lose their last 2 regular season games before they went off into the playoffs? Let me see, 2017 here. I think they lost both those games. They did. They lost at San Francisco. And they lost at Tennessee.
10-15, what a game.
Jacksonville was 3-3. And they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They won 7 of 8 to get to 10-4. And they lost the last 2 regular season games, both on the road at San Fran and Tennessee. And then, of course, went the thriller here. Bortles to Koyak.
Everybody talks about that game. Oh, 10-3 or whatever.
Is that how the national media treats us as such an inconvenience? Think of all the members of the media that got sent here to Jacksonville to cover that game. It ended up being like one of the worst football games ever played. 4th and 1, touchdown pass from Blake Bortles to Ben Koyak.
I believe the Bills finished that game with local boy. Oh, what is his name? Let's see. Yeah, Nate Peterman as quarterback in that game. Nate Peterman was quarterbacking in a playoff game against Blake Bortles.
That historic home Jacksonville win saw Blake Bortles go 12 for 23 for 87 yards and a touchdown.
But he did rush for 88 yards.
He sure did.
Dual threat.
It's a good thing because outside of that, playoff Lenny went 21 for 57, an average of 2.7. Again, so people getting on me about me coming out saying the alpha male, the lack of alpha male in the offense. The offensive line has sucked. It's sucked around here forever. Okay? Why do you think I've been banging every device that I can get my hands on, banging it, saying do something about it. Fix the face of your team. Give us some offensive linemen that this city can be proud of and build the wall of Duval. And hopefully that is now freshly underway with the addition of Anton Harrison. All right, John Osher is next. This is the home of the Jags.
This is Daniel Murphy on my hometown station here in Jacksonville, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Attention car buyers, are you noticing markups on vehicles on dealer lots? Well, come to Key Buick GMC where we never have markups on our vehicles. Ask for Derek or Brian where we have fair value pricing, no additional markups, as well as the only Buick GMC dealer with a lifetime powertrain warranty on all new Buicks and GMCs. That's only at Key Buick GMC. We are professional grade across from Tinseltown on the corner of Southside and Gate, or go to our website, keybuickgmc.com.
Have lunch with a former Jacksonville Pro Bowler.
Join me, Leon Searcy, for XL Primetime, weekdays from noon to 1:30.
Lunch with Leon.
Here's to lunch, anyway.
Brought to you by the Sausage Dudes. Sausage with a purpose on 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Dane Cook.
Nobody's browser history should be clear.
The Perfectly Shattered Tour.
You go to a girl browser, it should be like WebMD, Pinterest. Guy browser, clear.
Moran Theater, November 5th. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Children under 5 die from drowning in Florida more than any other state. Together, we can reduce the risk of drowning. The YMCA has programs accessible to families that teach essential water safety skills. Face the water with confidence. Learn more at watersafetyflorida.org.
Hey there, all you fun-loving sports maniacs, a.k.a. taco lovers. Don here from Taco Lou. I'm quite proud to say that we have the best staff in all of Duval.
Don't you mean Louval?
Say hello to Lizzie.
Hello, Jacksonville.
I suppose I do mean Louval. Say, Liz, what's your favorite cocktail to make?
The Double Barrel Margarita. It's Herradura, Tequila Reposado, orange liqueur, orange juice, and our homemade sour mix. We call it Lou Brew. Give it a good shake and serve.
Well, thanks, Lizzie.
Come and hang with me at the bar. Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
WJXL FM, Jacksonville Beach.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
1010XL Draft Profiles are brought to you by Travel Camp RV Sales and Service and Perfect Rack Billiards in Murray Hill.
With the 61st pick of the second round, Jacksonville tabbed tight end Brenton Strange out of Penn State. Strange caught 70 balls for the Nittany Lions, who used him like a Swiss Army knife. He ran routes from tight end, slot, and wideout positions, and could add the element of diversity to a Jacksonville offense looking for more options.
Did you know that many cooling companies are now part of big conglomerates with no connection to Northeast Florida? In the past, they have concentrated on heating and air conditioning, but after a buyout, many add plumbing and electrical services. This raises their overhead, and those costs are passed on to the consumer. It's a case where bigger isn't better, it's just more expensive. Not Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Mike Merritt remains family-owned and operated. Merritt's focus has been the same for more than 30 years, keeping Northeast Florida comfortable, no matter what the weather. And there are no overtime or weekend surcharges. Mike Merritt's team does not work on commission. They repair only what needs repair and offer replacements only on what can't be fixed. And unlike at giant corporations where you can feel like just another number, with Mike Merritt, you'll feel like number one. Florida license CACO 50384.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
John Osher, ladies and gentlemen. Very talented young man, senior writer. Jaguars.com, his weekly visit with Rick Ballou. And you know what's funny, John, about sports radio is you never know where it's going to take you. We were just reliving the phenomenal game right here. A touchdown pass from Blake Bortles to Ben Koyak, and the Jaguars knocked off the Bills 10-3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was not a harbinger of things to come for that team, but it was a big moment in this franchise history I think some people do forget about. So,
yeah, the game was compared to the two games.
The Pittsburgh game,
right?
It wasn't the most dazzling game, but yeah, I mean it was definitely a memorable one, and it was the first playoff win in 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like when I was doing my I forget when it was, a couple years back for an anniversary, putting together the biggest games in franchise history. That was one of the 10 or 15 because it's a playoff win and sends you to the next round. The atmosphere was huge. Shouldn't be forgotten.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I look at that game and just how much of a struggle it was offensively, and then a week later it's a 45-42 victory in Pittsburgh. It was the exact opposite. And then of course, that game in New England a week later was a one that will live in lore with the whole Miles Jack wasn't down and that pass interference call on, was it Boye or Colvin? It was Boye.
Well, there were two in the first half. Remember that? If memory serves, maybe one on Jalen, but I know one on Boye. But there were two that that set up. Yeah, I mean, it was one that if you want to live in the past and be angry, I still get a lot of emails about that game. We in the media can put that kind of thing aside, Rick. The fans really, they owned that one, I think rightfully so.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, they got themselves a tackle in the first round. You know, that's what I've been hollering about for a couple of months. So overall, I love what Jacksonville did. It did get a little sideways on me later in the draft, but I love the fact that they got themselves a guy in Anton Harrison, who appears to be their right tackle of the future.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, Rick, because you said you've been saying that for months, and I've kind of thought for months that was one of 2 or 3 logical ways. So I know people think I'm crazy. I don't necessarily think that was a heavy Cam Robinson influence pick. I just believe that offensive linemen are so much better usually their second year than their first. I think if it hadn't been for Cam's deal, I think you could have easily seen Harrison come in and play guard initially. Now I kind of wonder if he won't play tackle for a while. There'll be some combination, competing at guard, something. But I really believe that this was more about 2 things. I think this franchise learned last year you need 7 offensive linemen who can really play. And last year they had Shatley and Little ready. I don't think they make the playoffs if they're not 7 deep. So I think they believe that, and the Cam thing made it easier, made it make more sense to people. But I think this was about. I think it's going to be a philosophical thing for this team. Wouldn't be surprising if next off season they go guard, looking at Sheriff eventually not being here. I think they're going to replenish it with day 1 and day 2 picks because I think that's how Doug Peterson believes to play football. Balky does too, and you want to protect Trevor.
What have you heard about Brenton Strange? I mean, I looked at some tight ends. I didn't know a lot about him at all until after the selection was made. I mean, this has been a pick that it feels like everyone has a comment to make on it. What has been your overall impression of that selection?
Well, talked to his position coach, offensive coordinator at Penn State today. He obviously loves the kid, talks about his versatility. Everything out of the Penn State coach's mouth, and it's been a crazy day, and names slipped in my mind, but everything lined up with what the Jaguars want out of position, versatility. I look at it this way, and I'll kind of throw Bigsby in there with it. To me, it felt like there were times last year where they couldn't go running back by committee like Doug liked to do in Philly. And there were times I would get questions after games, why aren't they using the tight ends more? All due respect to Dan Arnold, I think Doug looked at the personnel and said, we've got one tight end that I like in that passing offense. I think that's why they didn't use it more. So I think those 2 picks get you a lot closer. And throw Harrison in there with the big offensive lineman. They had that last year, but the offensive line depth, I think this turned out. I don't think they went into it thinking we're going to do this come hell and high water, but I think it turned out to be very much a let's get Doug Peterson the full arsenal, much like he had in Philly. Mm-hmm. And I think this makes the offense really intriguing. If you look at it, 4 wide receivers, if you throw Agnew in there, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, they can't say that they don't have weapons.
No way. And second and third round, they brought more weapons. I mean, I love that. I love that feeling. With Strange, though, okay, he feels more like an Evan Ingram guy than he does a guy that you can just line up and block with. Is that a concern? Manhurts is gone. I mean, what do you believe just getting a run-blocking tight end? It feels like there's not one on the roster.
Ertz and Goddard. I mean, I think they like Strange as a blocker, but I think this is, 2 receiving tight ends in that Philly offense. It feels like, and again, I don't think Strange will be there, like in terms of making this high-powered in the first 5 or 6 weeks. And Bucky Brooks keeps making a point about the 2 tight ends too. in Philly, Doug didn't have 3 receivers like this. So it's probably not going to look exactly like that. But by the second half of the season, I think he'll be up and running. To answer your question, maybe they look to free agency a little bit with that because it doesn't look like they have the big brawling tight end. But I do feel like they think that they can get by in 12 personnel with the guys they're going to have on the field.
All right, let's final draft question, John. Antonio Johnson. Now, there's a real opportunity here. This could end up, and you could say the same thing about Yasir Abdullah, selected ahead of him in the 5th round. To me, those are 2 massive wild cards. We know that Johnson played the bulk of his plays at A&M in the slot, but he wasn't asked to play man coverage. He was more of a box safety type. So what do you envision him doing now here with Mike Caldwell's defense?
Well, I think, first of all, expectations be tempered for anybody after the first 2 days. I kind of consider, okay, let's see how they do that first year. Clearly, there's something about him that they want to make sure on. I don't think they think that he's going to come in and replace Trey Herndon in the slot, if you follow me. But a couple of years back, remember, Rudy Ford played a nickel safety kind of role. It's a different defensive coordinator, but perhaps you might see a similar concept. I'm not sure exactly how I expect him to get used the first year. I think typically I would expect more. I'm thinking they may go after a veteran to compete or to play that nickel corner role. To me, Johnson feels developmental. Not saying he won't play, but he feels like, hey, this guy might be Rayshon in a year or so when it's time for that veteran free agent from now 3 years ago to cycle out. That's usually the shelf life with a free agent signing. This one seemed to me more 2024, although I could have egg on my face with that one. I'm not real confident in the answer, but that's what it seems like.
Yeah. And what, $3.1 million to the rookies, so they've got right around 10.5, maybe close to $11 million to spend. You got to believe an edge, maybe a corner, maybe that blocking tight end that we talked about. I don't know, possibly another veteran guard. I mean, those would be the positions.
Yeah, and I don't know that they're desperate at guard simply because Shatley was the swing guy last year. Maybe the kind of trade they pulled right before the season last year for Van Lannen, something. But again, those aren't front line. I would say, if I'm expecting anything, Arden Key type signing as a veteran free agent pass rusher, that still feels to me like, I think they looked at the board at times during this draft and said, okay, can we, if we take a rookie here, are we expecting more immediate production than if we get a veteran? And are we going to spend and have to wait? And it feels like nickel and edge may have been those 2 types. I think we'll see that play out. If it plays out that way, we'll see it the next month or so.
John Osher, ladies and gentlemen. Read everything from John and his staff. Just go to Jaguars.com. John Osher is the senior writer. Always a lot of fun, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Rick, you too, buddy.
There he goes. John Osher, ladies and gentlemen. Really good work. Jaguars.com. Go ahead and check everything out. Not to be repetitive, but you got around $11 million, maybe a little bit less. Where are they going to add? I have to believe that one of the Unique Ngakoue, Frank Clark, Jadeveon Clowney, Leonard Floyd, and Justin Houston is coming. My guess is one of those 5 ends up here. How much is it going to cost? Because I would also like to, and if there's any player in the world, and by the way, the hometown discount should be eliminated. But I really believe it makes a tiny bit of sense with DeJuan Smoot because of what he's going through. And I don't know, maybe there's 3 or 4 other teams out there that are waiting to see how the summer goes and where he's at, let's say, in the early part of July. and maybe they'll bring him in. But perfect world for me would be one of the 5 edge rushers and one Smoot. And then I think you have to consider 2 other positions. I think there's a need for a blocking tight end, as we just discussed. And I also believe that there's a need for another cornerback who is out there and is available. Even if it's one of those cornerbacks that can give you, I don't know, the first 6, 7 games of the year. Let's say Antonio Johnson's not ready early. And Trey Herndon takes over that responsibility for the beginning part of the year. Can you bring in a veteran who can roll with Trey Herndon through the month of September and October? And possibly once you get midway through the year, you can promote a rookie. And, that's a lot harder to do in the NFL than it is in other sports, maybe even in college football, because I think we forget that the way that the rules are structured, there's almost zero practice time once you get into the regular season. There's plenty of classwork time. There's plenty of meetings. There's plenty of time for treatment and rehabilitation and conditioning and the mental aspect of it. But if you're trying to teach a guy how to shed blocks or do things like that out on the practice field, hitting is virtually gone in the NFL. And think about it. Okay, you heal on Monday, you get an off day on Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, yeah, you practice, but that is also about inserting your offensive scheme against your opponent and learning your opponent's offense and inserting your defensive plan against your opponent and also understanding what your opponent's defense is going to run. So it becomes so much more of the mental side and the intelligent side of understanding your role and what to look for scheme-wise, that all of a sudden teaching someone how to really progress in a position that they're not familiar with it's a lot easier to say that than it is to actually go out and do it. And it happens that way in a lot of sports. It does. I mean, look at these members of the PGA Tour who all of a sudden fixed their swing. Remember the year Martin Keimer came through here and won the Players? Talked about it took him like 2 years to master his change in his swing, and you're like, he's a PGA Tour. Go out on the range for a couple of hours and figure it out. No, it took the guy 2 hours. Baseball players all the time are tinkering and tweaking with their batting stance and how to do things to make it a little bit better. But once you actually get into the game, don't you feel frozen? I mean, do you feel that? I know I feel that way as a weekend hack. You're trying to get a lesson for some guy, and you're on the range, and they're telling you to do this with your hands or do this with your feet. And then what happens when you get to the first tee? You automatically want to go back to what it is that you feel comfortable doing. So it's 883 snaps in the slot for Antonio Johnson. But he never played man coverage. So just, if you hear from anyone who just, you're going out to a bar, you're doing whatever. If you just hear from anyone say, oh yeah, they're going to plug in Antonio Johnson, he's going to be the slot corner. Whoa! Order another round and be like, hold on here now. This is a 5th round rookie. Don't insert a 5th round rookie as a guy that you think is going to be the starter in day one and take over that responsibility right out of the gate. Just doesn't work that way. Look at the struggles last year with first and second round guy. Look at the struggles with particularly Devin Lloyd. Chad Muma couldn't find the field until late. So anyway, it's certainly a heck of a lot better than it once was. And I love it. I mean, if you're asking me 2 guys, he would be my pick. If we reevaluate this in 3 years, who's the guy who emerged? I may pick Antonio Johnson. I mean, most would pick the first rounder, right? And I certainly hope that's the case in Anton Harrison. But where else is a consistent starter coming from. I don't know much about Tyler Lacey. I don't know much about either of these other two corners who were selected in the 6th round. I mean, Cooper Hodges, I've read a lot about now, local product, Jags fan. I mean, that's all great. But can he play? You know, those are questions we do not have answers to right now. All right, we got much more to do. We're with you tonight till 8 o'clock. Hacker on vacation. He'll be with you next Monday, but we're going to roll tonight till 8, and that'll be the same tomorrow. 6 to 8, Dave Campo at 6:25 tomorrow night to talk some NFL draft. And plenty of other things scheduled as well. Best way to get us is on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. That number is 641-1010.
It started with a dream.
I wanted to be a senator.
I wanted to be a florist. International House Pancake.
And it turned into The Franchi Show.
Are we ready? Yes. Good.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Houston, we do not have a problem.
Houston's Meats is now carrying locally raised cattle from right here in Florida. Ground beef to steaks to even roasts, each cut is graded USDA choice and has been raised locally from birth to harvest. Houston's Meats at Main Street and 295.
It's time to play Fix That Plumbing Problem. What do you do if you have a clogged drain? Contestant 1.
Have my husband try to fix it?
Yeah, right.
And maybe his buddy who lives across the street?
Contestant 2. That's right. Just call the duck.
Clogged drains, leaky pipes, water heaters to slab leaks, commercial and residential. We repair what your husband fixed.
When you're stuck, call the duck. 904-862-6769.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, it's Prosser here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? Does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound about right now? Well, Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loans, consolidate all your payments into one check per month, and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now to see what your options are. Call Loan Pronto at 999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
Are you looking for increased privacy and protection for your family and pets? Look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Superior Fence and Rail is Jacksonville's top-rated fence company, delivering the highest quality fence products. They'll treat your property as if it's their own. So get off the fence and get your privacy back. Call Superior Fence and Rail today for your on-site estimates.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. These pests are out for blood, but you don't have to let them win. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Custom fireplaces, outdoor kitchens, and more. You dream it, they build it at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Schedule a showroom tour and let CSS help you create your dream space. Visit CSSFireplaces.com.
Tide Power Pods have 85% more Tide.
Who needs that much more Tide?
Well, when giving your muddy dog a bath turns into you getting a mud shower. Yikes, you're gonna need more Tide. when your wine tasting becomes a wine spilling.
Yeah, you're gonna need more Tide.
Or if your favorite shirt is your kid's favorite napkin. Great, I'm gonna need more Tide. My mom gave me that shirt.
It's a mess out there. Tide Power Pods have 85% more Tide versus Tide Pods.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, getting a lot of good stuff in here tonight from you on the text line 641-1010, particularly about my opinion on the national media. It's very rarely that you and I are in complete agreement, but we are here. The 0981 just said, Kyle Brandt listens to Nickelback. Earlier in the show, too, we got quite a few Arden Key references, which are just outstanding.
They'll never die. Also, that's the second time in 2 days Nickelback has been brought up on the show.
Yeah, Hacker Nation's a big Nickelback
He's
guy.
not even in town.
Mm-hmm. I want to grab a couple of these calls. Let me, what the heck was that one? Here we go. I won't give out the phone number or the name for obvious reasons. Because I was, hey, Rick, yada, 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 long-time listener. You even did a spot a couple of years ago on my dad's passing. Huge Jags fan, season ticket holder. I'm going to London this year for a Jags game with my girlfriend. First time out of the country. And I need your help on proposing to her.
Oh, Christ.
When we're there. How do you need my help? You want me to be in the ring bearer, or
Listen, no offense to anyone involved in this.
Oh, don't rip them, JJ. It's a heartwarming story.
If Rick is somehow involved in you proposing, things aren't going to go well. Just in general. If Rick is, if you're thinking of Rick at all for some reason during this, I don't like it.
How many bridesmaids are going to be there? Okay, how many available bridesmaids?
Do you need to be there in person?
I don't know. I have no plans to go to London. I mean, let me say this. I'm not going to crap on anyone's parade, but I've been to London enough. I'm no longer the sideline reporter. I have zero plans to go into London, and I'm quite all right with it. And don't let me ever be the one to distract you or tell you not to go there, okay? Go and have the time of your life. Just expect rain, cold, never seeing the sun, obnoxious people, bad food, bad beer.
But besides that, great place.
Yeah. Enjoy yourself. All right, so you're going to have to send me details on how I can help all this out. Proposing
I can't wait to hear this. Oh, I can't say that. I can wait.
Now, what do you think he's going to ask me to do? Like, write a script?
Honestly, I'm bamboozled by this one.
Bended knee? I mean, you were on bended knee recently, right?
Yes.
When you proposed?
And you didn't have anything to do with that.
No?
But maybe you should have. Maybe I should have asked you to come along. Maybe he's going to do something like ask you to do it on the radio. Or, which please don't do that, dude. She's not going to like that.
I'm not Magic, man. Don't ask me to pull like a cat out of a hat or something.
I'm just trying to warn this guy. She's not going to love that. Hey, let's listen to the radio. And then you come on. Hey, our favorite listener, Jack. He really loves you, Kelly, and he wants you to be with him for the rest of their lives.
You know what I was doing?
What do you say?
I did quite a few videos of that.
No.
Yeah.
Like fans asked you to do a video?
I did I think I did 4 different ones. One was on the road somewhere a couple of years ago, but they were all at like Mr. Chubby's.
And they were marriage proposals? Or just like happy birthdays?
It was like they did the marriage proposal on their own, but they asked me to provide some like advice.
Oh, that's funny.
So they like stuck a cell phone in my face and was like, give the wife advice on the husband, and I'd be like, here's my advice to you. Don't do it!
Yeah. Okay, so he did text us back. Guys, do I do it at the game? Simple.
Hell no.
No way, bro.
Gosh,
she
no,
doesn't want to
man.
get at
It's all
a
about the
football
game.
game.
No.
She's not going to love that, dude. Obviously, we don't know your girl.
Nah, you can't do it at the game, man. The game's...
She doesn't care about
It's really
the game
about the
like
bros,
you do.
and if you got a cool wife, a girlfriend with you, cool, but no. Can't do it at the game. How about a hotel bar? Okay? That's romantic. Buy a round of beers at room temperature for everyone.
Let me give some general advice. And this obviously doesn't go for like girls that work in sports media or whatever. But anytime your girl is acting like she's a fan of your team, she's never really a fan of your team, dude. She loves you. So like you're bringing her to Jags games or whatever. She loves the Jags now. She doesn't want to get proposed to at a football game, dude. That's so, I don't know. Guys, man, go to the beach or something.
Here's my advice.
Like the Jags versus Bengals or I just can't imagine it. I could never imagine doing that.
Here's my advice. Why don't you put on songs from today, recently nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I haven't seen this
because when we
news.
think of rock and roll, we think of the great George Michael. So put on some of George Michael's greatest music. Think Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And slide on over the ring.
What about Kate Bush, who's just been nominated?
This is enough. Bro, this is enough to make
or
me
Sheryl Crow.
Absolutely, totally, completely want to puke. Okay? First of all, the most obvious candidate, Warren Zevon, did not get in. Kate Bush got in. Sheryl Crow got in. Missy Elliott got in.
It's Missy Misdemeanor Elliott to you.
George Michael got in. Willie Nelson got in.
Now, what's your opinion on that one?
He's country, man. I mean, listen, I love Willie here and there. See this right here. Now, can you imagine at the end of the rock and roll celebration, you get everyone up on stage, you get the 14 guitars, and you can all jam the George. Our newest inductee, Rock and Roll by George Michael. Let's include some of his earlier days with Wham. 2-for-1 drafts, 2-for-1 pitchers. Don't forget to tip your bartenders. They're working so hard for you. Now the latest from the great George Michael.
No, let's take our attention over to George, who has something special to say to his lady, Kelly. By the way, you hit the post flawlessly once again.
Rage Against the Machine. Okay. That one I can go. The Spinners. I mean, aren't they all dead? They were like in the 50s and the 60s. The Spinners. I mean, now listen. The Spinners are part of musical change, and I understand that and I get that. But not one of them ever held the guitar. Not one of them ever played the drums. Not one of these members ever grabbed a bass. This is not rock and roll. Meanwhile, Bad Company, not in. Jethro Tull, not in. The man plays a flute, ladies and gentlemen. Boston, not in. Styx, not in. Foreigner, not in. Jake Giles, not in. Supertramp, not in. REO Speedwagon, not in. Peter Frampton, not in. America, not in. The Guess Who, not in. Grand Funk Railroad, not in. Warren Zevon, not in. Ozzy Osbourne, not in. All right, he's in with Black Sabbath, but he's Ozzy Osbourne. So embarrassed.
So out of all the lists, Rage is really the only actual rock act I can find.
Got the official list right here. Let me pull this out. This really, nothing is as flawed as a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The steroid issue has crushed baseball, but they're eventually going to get that right, and they're all going to be allowed in. Football, for the most part, gets it right. Yeah, it took Baselli too long. Fred Taylor's going to get in a couple. Right now, there's a log jam at wide receiver. We'll have to see if eventually it does work one day for Jimmy Smith. But I think for the most part, football gets it right. Hockey screwed it up. I think you got 7 500-goal scorers who are not in, excuse me. And that is ridiculous. All right, Kate Bush, Sheryl Crow, Missy Elliott, George Michael, Willie Nelson, Rage Against the Machine, The Spinners, DJ Cool, Herc.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't even know him.
Link Ray, Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Bad Company's not. I mean,
well, not officially. These are nominees.
You can't make this up. Yeah, but most are going. Al Cooper, not Alice Cooper, but Al Cooper, Bernie Toplin, and Don Corleone.
Don Corleone?
No, now listen, this got rock and roll.
This is Shaka Khan.
Screw Foreigner when you can listen to Shaka Khan. Oh man, this and George Michael.
God, this is the most 80s sounding thing I've ever heard.
I can see members from Floyd and Zeppelin and the Stones and the Who.
You don't think they were influenced by
Robbie
this?
Krieger and John Densmore still alive for the Doors, the Eagles, the Police, ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner. I can see them all just getting up on stage to Shaka Khan when they get in.
God, the 80s were terrible. The music, the outfits, the movies almost, like everything.
So the two best, in my opinion, and I'm not a Soundgarden guy, but they were eliminated and Warren Zevon was eliminated.
What do you mean, like they only have a certain amount of years to get in?
You know how they go from like 25 to...
Oh, so they were part of the bigger group of nominees.
You know, like the Pro Football Hall of Fame goes from like 25 to I think 15. That's what happens here with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So they got kicked off by the likes of Sheryl Crow.
Exactly.
Who someone on the text line said, Sheryl Crow is deserving. She rocks.
You know what? Out of everyone on this list, Sheryl Crow, it's a little more pop to me and maybe some country.
Very pop.
Okay, but there's not a lot of female singers in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Out of the list here, yeah, this song is just terrible.
It's so bad.
Just don't play the one with her and Kid Rock.
Oh, that one too.
Talk about getting it on in some hotel room. I mean, it's just like a... But out of everyone who's on this list, if you're looking at rock and roll, it would be Rage Against the Machine.
Yes.
There's no one else on this list.
Literally only rock band.
Now, I can see Willie Nelson again. I mean, is Neil Diamond in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I don't even know that. I should. But, you get the guys like James Taylor. Neil Diamond has to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Even though that is clearly love music, it was one of his own, it was his own shtick, if you will. So.
Neil Diamond has been nominated, or yeah, he is. He's in. 2011.
Absolutely. Pour me a drink and I'll tell you some lies. I mean, you talk about a great lyricist. It's so true. Pour me a drink and I'll tell you some lies. I mean, that is brilliant.
And what song is that?
Where's my Jimerson? That should be my
quote of the day.
Words of wisdom. That would be.
Someone says the CMAs, which if you don't know, that's the Country Music Awards, have a best rap category.
Oh, really?
everything has to be inclusive to everything. It's just like, no, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has to be everyone. No, Country Music Awards has to be everyone.
It's Love in the Rocks, bro. Put on Love in the Rocks. Neil Diamond before we head to this break. And I'm fine with that. Just don't call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Just call it the Music Hall of Fame. You cannot do this to rock and roll. Going to Cleveland is bad enough in itself. Going to Cleveland to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a total disappointment. You're better off going to a Hard Rock Cafe over at Universal in Orlando.
Which I believe most are closed.
Are they now closed?
I think there's that one.
I'm going to let you take this to break.
Ain't no surprise. Just pour me a drink and I'll tell you some lies. Got nothing to lose, so you just sing the blues all the time. Gave you my heart.
One of the best kept secrets in the United States. Shh, let's keep it that way. Jacksonville, FLA, home of 1010XL.
Your quick and easy solution for paying the lowest price on car insurance is Estrella Insurance. E to the T here, and start saving the big bucks and pay less today. Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE and see for yourself. That's 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE or visit EstrellaInsurance.com.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows in $2.95.
Find your why in your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
The hilarious Brian Regan.
My doctor looked at me and said, "Brian, you are way too sedentary." So I vowed in that moment to get a dictionary.
Sunday, May 14th at the Florida Theater.
But I haven't gotten around to it, just been laying around the house.
Tickets are on sale now at floridatheater.com.
In sports, the grind outside the lines is what ultimately defines our success. Get the amateur's edge, powered by B3 Better, to learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From roll and lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
Fact, we all want to feel better, especially when our joints hurt. Are you stuck on the sidelines but want to get back in the game of life? My friend Dr. Alan Nathans has a no-needle regenerative clinic for people with degenerated arthritic joints, like bone-on-bone knees, shoulders, hips, and more. He uses no-needle soft wave tissue regeneration technology that activates your own stem cells to grow brand new tissue. Long-term results. Don't do another cortisone injection. Dance at 50, golf at 60, river run at 70. Yes, yes, and yes. Check out Dr. Nathans at drnathans.com.
Coming through in the clutch. David Garrard for Clearwater Seamless Gutters. You all know Clearwater installed my sprinklers, but recently John Haney's Clearwater Gutter Division installed beautiful 6-inch seamless gutters for my home in Jacks Beach, and they work great.
Dave, that's awesome to hear. Now jump in. We're fixing to sing.
Clearwater Irrigation,
We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage too.
Don't suffer another day with cheap box store cornhole boards. Order your custom luxury boards from Mystic Cornhole Company right here in Jax. Ask about pro-level bags, lights, score stands, and other accessories. And score with Mystic Cornhole Company.
Improve visibility and save $8 instantly when you pick up a pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bosch Icon premium blades can help you see better and drive safer. And our professional parts people will install them for you for free. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, with answers to the questions I'm asked the most. Yes, we are local, and no, I'm not hiring an actor to read these commercials. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Attention golfers, Hidden Hills Golf Club has become an attractive destination for golfers all over North Florida. You too will enjoy our classic Arnold Palmer design that'll test your game and keep you coming back. Book a tee time today at hiddenhillsgc.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Next to her, I put your picture away. Sat down and cried today.
Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Before Kid Rock was blowing up every available Bud Light can, he got together with Sheryl Crow. This is just so bad. You know she's walking out of a barn right now with all sorts of crap going up through her sandals and work from cows and horses. But some of yous like it, right? Some of y'all, this is good music, but you don't know what you're missing.
See, this isn't country music. Like, I know that you think it is.
It's bad music.
It is.
Okay?
Can't argue with that.
It's bad.
But real country people would be offended if you called it.
No, real country, you need to have a truck, a three-legged dog. Mommy just got let out of prison.
Rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey, whiskey makes my baby a little
I
bit
lost
frisky.
my job. I'm going to hit on my cousin's sister. Well, doesn't that make
That
it
is your
cousin as well? Yeah.
Sister through marriage.
Whenever I do that, I'm going to get the... Oh, let's go back to Boston, bro. You don't know anything down here.
Yeah, listen to, what's a Boston band?
Jake Giles.
Boston.
The Cars. Aerosmith. James Taylor.
I'll tell you one that I hate, and I only know that one song. That Shipping Up to Boston song.
I don't know.
Oh, my God. Yes, you do.
No.
Murphy's, Dropkick Murphy.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I mean,
Just like, it's corny.
A lot of people like it.
They love it.
Someone asked me if Lynyrd Skynyrd is in the Hall of Fame. It is. They are. Yeah, absolutely they are. You know, I want to apologize to callers. I just didn't have a chance tonight. I hate to do that to you. Take the time to dial in, and I don't get to you. It's rude. But at least I offered up an apology, you know. I mean, I could just say nothing. I do feel bad.
And you got to listen to the show on hold.
Yeah, listen, I mean.
Congrats.
I would have taken Omar and Rick and others, but when you get an opportunity to talk to Rock and Roll Hall of Famer or listen to the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Sheryl Crow, you're going to go with it. And we also gave you the Spinners. We gave you George Michael. George was great when he had that, you know, the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 day hair growth. He had that hair that would kind of flip and it would bounce, yet behave. Wind tunnel tested. I mean, you just put George Michael into the Hall of Fame. And the great Paul Rogers is still not in. I know I shouldn't care, but I really, really, really do. And there's nothing that I can do about it. But
do you think Pete Rose is more deserving to be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame or Bad Company in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, that's a hard one because it's both.
I know it would be.
It's both. Pete Rose, though, he's
Yeah.
got the most hits in the history of the game, and he won a ton of World Series.
How many rings does Pete have?
He won, what, 75 and 76 in Cincinnati. He won that one in Philly. Remember when the ball popped out of Bob Boone's?
Yep, 3 World
glove?
Series.
So he won it in Philly.
3 batting titles and 1 MVP. Not in the Hall of Fame.
Game 2 tonight, Philadelphia in Boston, the return of Embiid. Philly go up 2-0 tonight, or is Boston even it?
Even it. They have to. This is do or die pretty much for them. So I think they win, and they win big, and I think Embiid looks pedestrian.
Game 1's tonight, 1 underway. Carolina up 2-0 early after, I got to believe it tired physically and mentally. New Jersey Devils team after knocking off the New York Rangers in 7. 2-0 there after 1 period. That game is in Raleigh. And then coming up at 9:30 tonight, Bruce Cassidy, your former head coach of the Lizard Kings. First year in Vegas. He's got them in the second round. They will play host to Edmonton. That'll be game 1 coming up tonight at 9:30. That's going to do it. Thank you to Damian Parsons and John Osher. Tomorrow night, 6 to 8, including at 6:25. We review the Jaguars draft again. Dave Campo will be in for us, or with us, I should say. For JJ, my name is Rick Ballou. Have a great night.
Sports sounds better on radio.
I love it. I love it.
You get the most live sports on 1010XL.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure.